You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Good morning and happy Earth Day. It is April 22nd on this glorious Monday morning. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and in this whole show, we are celebrating our Earth and how we can best sustain it. We've got CC Zach having a conversation with Fill and Refill, plus Covered Bridge having a conversation with Huga Life, and then the Westin. They are on the forefront of sustainability as far as tourism and hospitality is concerned here in the Valley. So all of that is getting started. Let's start hour one right now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. Coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Hey, it's your boy, Nephew Tommy, your host for an all-new season of Black College Quiz, where the nation's best and brightest display their knowledge of Black history and culture while competing for prizes and scholarships. So get ready to see HBCU Nation take the academic field. Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Yeah, man.
Hi, it's Julio from TV8 Vail. Do you ever wonder why our tagline is "There's more for you" on 92? Because we're always bringing you more. More Good Morning Vail from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. all year long. More local coverage with Vail Vibes and Covered Bridge on TV8. More opportunities to participate with new roundtable panels on Mountain Perspectives. And our expanded Spanish programming block. Find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on YouTube, or our website, tv8vail.com.
Welcome to Hiring America, the television program that helps veterans find jobs and transition back into civilian life. Hi everyone, I'm Gigi Stone Woods. I'm truly honored to host this vital program. Reach out to the opportunities you see on this program by logging onto our website, hiringamerica.net, and by following us on social networking sites such as Twitter. We'll keep that information available throughout the broadcast and on our website 24/7. Now, let's get down to business.
Good morning, Vail.
The best of Cece Zach. She's had such interesting conversations throughout the Valley. Let's take a look at her conversation with Phil and Refill.
This is Cece Zach, and I am so delighted to be here with Allison Burgund from Fill and Refill. Thank you so much for hosting us today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, when we were preparing for the interview, I was just so enthralled with your background, and I think it's really important for the viewers to understand why you've been in Vail for as long as you have, how many years, why do you stay here, and just let everyone know all about you.
Oh, sure. Great place to live, first off. So I grew up hiking and camping in the Pacific Northwest and then made my way to Southern California for school. And I was even an outdoor guide. So I spent a lot of time in the outdoors, taking people around, enjoying, respecting nature. And so at some point, when I was living in Southern California, I came on a vacation here and obviously fell in love. Got a job, moved here, and what keeps me here is, the proverbial came for the winter, stayed for the summers, and it's just a great quality of life. So I love being here.
And so how long has it been?
24 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
You must have seen a ton of change here in the Valley.
A ton of change. I saw Moe's Barbecue when they were in an empty lot with their rolled tow behind barbecues. So I've seen that flourish to their huge operation now. Love them.
You're the first person that's used Moe's as a milestone in their time here.
So I love it.
Yeah, and I love it too because
Yeah.
now when I interview people, I'm going to start using that with them.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh God, you know a lot about this valley,
Yeah.
knowing that I've only been here for a few years. But back to you. So you have been just a pillar in society as it relates to your passion around waste management. I mean, I don't mean to be so blunt and use the words waste management, but you have done such an incredible job here in the Valley in instituting a way of life for behavior change. But where did that all come from, Allison?
I had a super liberal upbringing in the Pacific Northwest and a lot of activists in my family. So I'd say most of my family was involved in saving nature or people in some respect. My aunt was a head attorney for Greenpeace. My uncle started the Public Defenders in Seattle, which is an organization that provides you an attorney if you can't afford one. And primarily, my father was an attorney for EPA for 30 years.
Wow, EPA.
EPA. So
Talk about change over 30 years.
for
Wow.
sure.
Will he come on the show next time?
We'll see. He lives in Texas, so we'll see if we can get him here. But some of the things that I had in my life on a daily basis were I had a picture on the wall in my dad's office of a hand and a little fish, and there was a paperclip the same size as the fish, comparing the size. And it was a fish that my dad had flown to Alaska to close a refinery that was polluting the streams that were killing that fish. So from when I was a really young age, protecting nature and your community and the earth was just a baseline. So I grew up with all kinds of patches on my backpacks from the Okefenokee Swamp, and I remember having my first little backpack from the first REI store in Seattle that I would stitch my little saving habitat patches on. So it's always been a part of my life.
That being said, is there any memory that you have where you started to influence other people about these learnings that you had for them to have a behavioral change around climate and climate action in some way, shape, or form?
You bet. So when I was an outdoor guide in college, I remember water bottles were a thing even back then. We first had our Nalgene bottles and reusable bottles, and that was kind of the turning point where bringing a plastic bottle started to be, super uncool. Like, use reusable. It's right there. It's infinitely
And that was,
reusable.
if I, you know,
Yeah.
that's probably the time when bottled water started to take off.
For sure,
As
yeah.
a commercial option.
Right.
For
right.
consumers.
And then they just added more and more and more and more options for that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if we were to just ignore climate action, what's the thoughts that come to your mind if, you know, all of a sudden the world just decides to give up on climate action? What do you think would happen?
Well, it increases the timeline on a lot of, you know, trash buildup and, you know, elements gone, resources gone. So
you had mentioned to me earlier when we were chatting about, you have a figure in your mind about it, the trends that we're going, about how much time we have for landfill.
yes, that was one of the yes. Thanks for reminding me.
Because that to me was just so striking. Because it might not be in my lifetime, but go ahead and explain.
Well, so landfills have a timeline because of the way that they can break down foods and all the they get filled basically. So our local landfill has 50 years left, from what I understand, and that means we have to find another
We
place.
say local, Vail Valley.
Vail Valley,
Yeah, wow.
our landfill right over
note
there.
That
Yeah.
For our generation, the next generations, 50 years, that's it.
Yeah. So in my children's lifetime, they will have to find another location in this valley for another landfill.
Wow, and as I recall in the research that I've done, is that landfills emit a lot of methane, and that's what's killing, you know, the CO2. And
Yep.
by no means am I an expert in this, but in addition to filling this landfill, of which we only have 50 years, if we don't start creating more CO2, green gases in this arena, we're destined for humanitarian crises.
Yeah. So I think that's, you know, jumping ahead, that's where refilling comes in. All you need is what's inside the bottles, not the actual bottles. So it seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah,
adding to the landfills.
It's making me really think that that I know, you know, politics aside, there's been just a lot of up and down about people's beliefs in climate action. But I mean, I just know in the past 5 years what I've seen with the weather. And I mean, you know, it's just mind-boggling what's happening in California and what's happening, you know, here. We actually, this season, we've probably had the most snow that we've had in decades, which one could argue.
I would agree.
Yeah, it has something to do with the climate. So philosophy on recycling, or let's say the bigger term for me is around materials management, but you have come up with such a phenomenal, innovative idea. Just tell me about how you came up with the idea to help change behaviors with recycling.
Sure. So I can't take credit for the concept. There are several other around the United States and around the world. Europe is very good at this, as a matter of fact. But I noticed in my daily habits that I was using the same shampoo. So every time I would go to the grocery store, I needed shampoo, buy the same bottle, come home, then the bottle would get recycled, thrown away, and repeat. You know, how many shampoos is that a year? And that's just shampoo. So I was noticing all I needed what was inside of the bottle. I mean, I don't need this exact duplicate of that bottle 12 times a year. And then it gets worse and worse with dish soap, laundry soap, all the different products you use in your house. So I was just taking a notice of my personal impact on using plastics, and I actually laid out all the plastics I used in a month on my, you know, picnic table, and it was substantial. So I knew I could do better.
Wow, you're just making me realize, because today is Recycle Day where I live in Avon, and I took out, and I'm, you know, don't have much waste to begin with, and I was shocked at how much I had. And, you know, I look forward to talking about your store in a second, but you know what, you just made me realize where my most recycles come from? Beverages. Beverages in general. And so you have any thoughts on beverages before we get into what you offer here?
That one's really hard, and my kids hate me, but we don't do a lot of plastic beverage bottles in our family. So I just try and limit that to infinitely recyclable things like glass and aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bubbly water is my, the bubbly water gets me. And I still have I bought one of the bubbly makers, but you can't get the cartridges since COVID. You can't get the O2 cartridges. So, well, I would ask our viewers to stay tuned. We're going to take a quick station break, or actually we're going to take a quick retail break at Fill and Refill, and we will be right back with Allison Burgon. Thank you.
Good morning, Vail.
Each week on The Tech Show, you can look forward to the latest in technology and how you can use it too. We'll also chat with leading experts, and you'll find out if the latest gadget will take my money or not. Don't miss The Tech Show. Check your local listings.
Next up, we've got a special duo from two of the best voices in the bluegrass and country genres.
We know you're going to love this one from Melanie Cannon and Willie Nelson. Here's Back to Earth.
And the songs our love created, I still sing. And every night we make the rafters ring.
My name is Tyler Alvarez. I work here at Sweet Basil in Vail. I'm a bartender here. I originally came to Vail to snowboard. I slept on my sister and my cousin's couch for what was supposed to be a week, turned into 2 months, and then I found my own spot, and then kind of made friends and worked different places in the valley and kind of just fell in love with it more and more every single day, and ended up finding my way to Sweet Basil through some friends who had worked here and all the great things that I heard about it. And yeah, I've been here for 4 years now. It's hard to wake up in Vail and be upset when you look outside. It's just beautiful. My favorite part about working at Sweet Basil is definitely that I could be proud about everything that we're putting out, whether it's food, drinks. We also get to be really creative here. The bartenders, the whole team here, we workshop our menus every season, so we'll start with a spirit or an ingredient, and then we get to be really creative and make a whole project of it. And then when we get the final product, it's a drink that we're all really proud of for the whole menu, and that's super fun, just being able to be creative and work with new things. And the most fun cocktails to make, though, are definitely the ones that we get to create from scratch. When people take a sip and say, oh my God, this is delicious, or they just love it. And that's probably the most fun for me, the creativity behind it and making unique cocktails. That, for me, that would be the most fun drink to make, just the one that you start from scratch and then people are excited about. I'm Tyler, I live and work in Vail. Come see me at Sweet Basil.
Good morning, Vail.
In continuation of the conversation around sustainability, let's keep looking at CC Zach and Fill and Refill.
We are back on with Allison Burgon from Fill and Refill, and it's just been a delight talking to you. I'm learning so much about what more I can be doing. So this portion of the show I really would like to dedicate to helping our viewers know more about what they can do to be more sustainably responsible. So the philosophy behind the store. You mentioned that this context it has been widely adapted in Europe, but tell us what your goals are with this store, the philosophy and the goals behind the store.
Philosophy is to get people to not use a new plastic container every time they need a product. Baseline.
And you did mention hair shampoo. Yep. You mentioned dish detergent. You mentioned laundry detergent.
Yep.
Any other? Hand soap.
Oh man, all kinds of stuff. Even stainless steel cleaner. We have sunscreen. We have hair gel. We have.
And none of us hear you though.
Hairspray. Yeah.
The sunscreen.
Gel. That's funny.
Well, sometimes I do, but I didn't even think of sunscreen.
Yeah. All kinds of stuff, toner, lotions, all kinds of things.
Oh, body lotion.
Body lotion, yep.
Okay.
Truly, my philosophy is that there's 5 products you use in your house every day. and it depends on who you are, what those products are, but there's at least 5 that you use on repeat. Hand soap, laundry soap, dish soap, hand lotion, whatever your other one might be. Start refilling those. See what happens. See how many plastic containers you can save a year.
So with that in mind, who's a typical client of yours in the store?
Typical clients, and this is one of my favorite things, they come into the store and they are happy. They are so happy that there is an option. I have a lot of really happy customers, very few angry customers. They're so happy that they can contribute in their own way to saving plastic and, saving money on their recycling in the end and saving plastics from the landfill. Interestingly enough, I have a lot of kids who are in their teens, and they tell their parents. And the parents come back, the teens come back, and they buy packages, deodorant in paper package, or they reusable cloth facial wipes, and then the moms and the dads come back in and they buy laundry soap, dish soap, hand soap, all those things. Yeah,
and that's really important for the viewers to recognize that our younger generations are the ones that are really going to help us understand how we can contribute and change our behavior. Because I didn't even think of the facial products or the deodorant. Boy, I'm behind the times. Oh, I don't want to admit that to everyone.
We'll go through some stuff.
All right. Thank you for that. Tell us a little bit about your price points, because my assumption would be that doing this is wildly expensive, but after talking with you, that's not the case.
No, one of my favorite things is that I check the price points on items that are offered in big box stores weekly to compare, so that I can talk to people about that. And the number one selling item that I have here, laundry soap by Boulder Clean, is $3 cheaper here to refill than buying the same amount in one of the big box stores around town. So that's one of my very favorite things. On the whole, the product.
And when and let me just interrupt. When you say at the big box store, that's we're buying that a new plastic container every time we go to a big box. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And so, in general, the products are clean products. They're good products. They equate a lot to the products in the organic section of the grocery store. So the price point is very similar to that.
Okay, that makes it much more reasonable for us to recognize.
To understand, yeah.
What type of community impact would you like to make here in the Valley?
Oh man, I would love to save those years off that landfill. That would be a great goal. I would love to, bottom line, slow down the filling up of the landfill. I know that's a big goal, but dream big.
One of the other things that I think about, and not that I want to share too much with our viewers, but I have found that I have a lot of BPA in my physical body, in my cells, in my blood, not my blood, but my cells. And that's thanks to the integrative medicine doctor that I work with. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out where this BPA has come from. And I have switched to glass many years ago, cooking in glass and what have you. Tell us a little bit about containers in general. So, I guess food products, tell us a little bit about your philosophy around containers, plastics versus glasses versus, BPA free and...
Sure. So one of the tenets of the store is that I only offer containers that are glass or aluminum, and I don't sell any products that are packaged mostly in glass. I only sell products that are packaged in glass when you buy them as a one-off products. So I try to limit my connection to that at all in my life. So I do that in the store as well.
If you were, and we're going to get a chance to kind of walk through the store in a few moments, but if you were to leave our viewers with tips about things that they can be doing at home just to physically make a behavioral change in this recyclable space, what is it?
Refill as much as you can, save plastics. There's some really small shifts that you can do that are, that don't make that much of a difference in the pattern of your life. Like instead of using a plastic sponge in your kitchen, switch to a natural sponge.
I didn't even realize. So a typical sponge has microplastics in it.
Tons of microplastics in it.
Everything has microplastics.
Everything has microplastics in it. Yep. Switch to a non-plastic sponge in your sink, or switch to it's called a Swedish dishcloth. invented in Sweden, comes from wood pulp and cotton fibers, and no microplastics there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I was just listening, Wall Street Journal has a podcast about new things in the world. And I just listened to one about how much microplastics are actually released from our clothes into the water in the washing machine and is disposed ultimately to our oceans. And that the level of our oceans, there is a coating on the bottom of our oceans of microplastics. And the lack of knowledge that I have about this until I just heard this podcast was just extraordinary. So I love, you just saying the sponge has microplastics in it. Our clothes have microplastics. The stuff we wash our clothes with has microplastics in it. So I think it's important for our viewers to really just take a little listen to what we can do to change. So with that in mind, we're going to take a quick tour around the store where Allison can pretend that I am a first-time shopper and take me through what I should be looking at and how to change my behaviors at home.
You got it.
So Allison, I'm a first-time customer and I am so excited to be here, but I have no idea what to do. Walk me through it.
You got it. So my favorite thing is that it's all about the vessel. So you can purchase one here, you can bring one for home, and we even have a small selection here, big and small at different times, of donated things. So you don't have to buy a thing for the container. You can just come right in. The way that it works is you take your vessel and we weigh it first so that you can take away the weight of the vessel at the end and just pay for the product that you get. So another favorite thing is that if you're trying a new product, you can just get a little bit. One of my very favorite things. And then when you come back and you like it, come out and fill it up. So a little or a lot.
So we have the vessel, all right,
vessel.
And here we have all of the stuff that we talked about: lotions, shampoos, detergents. We
All
fill the
kinds.
vessel.
Fill the vessel. You weigh it again. We price it per weighted ounce, and then you're on your way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to
got
another
it.
part of the store. So you had told me about bar soaps for your hair. So
Yeah. Okay, so one of my favorite products in here is bar shampoo and bar conditioner. A lot of people are just getting into it, but there are so many options for that. And frankly, this conditioner is probably one of the very best conditioners in this store. It lasts forever. It works really well. So you're not sacrificing anything.
Let me
Yeah.
ask, how hard is it for someone to start using a bar? And I'm thinking that's like a weird sensation.
I know. People think it's like taking a traditional bar soap and rubbing it on your head and it's going to be pull your hair. It's a very easy transition. People are a little leery of it, but then when they see the quality of the product, they keep coming back. Yeah.
All right, the other one I love, for me, paper towels, reusable paper towels.
Yes. So one of the biggest habits people find that they have at their house is just go get a paper towel for every use, drying your hands, wiping off the countertop. And this is a really good substitution for that in that you can use the same habit, getting a paper towel, and then just wash it and reuse it. So it's a really good way. Mhm.
And let's just end on what I also love too, is the deodorant. I love the packaging and hadn't even thought about recycling deodorant.
Excellent. I offer an excellent options for deodorant, wonderful smells, naturally scented, and they all work really well. That's my favorite thing. I think sometimes natural deodorants get a bad rap, and we use them so often we just don't even remember how much plastic is in a regular deodorant.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So, Allison, thank you so much. I want to give you a big hug.
Thanks
I
for
learned
having me.
so much
Thanks.
from you today.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching us at Fill and Refill, and hopefully you will change your behaviors. This is
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
TV8 te brinda la mejor programación en español todos los días. Sintoniza Conexión Latina los lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 7 de la tarde con repeticiones los fines de semana. Además, te presentamos nuestro nuevo programa Sabores y Creaciones, donde hemos juntado tus recetas y manualidades favoritas en un solo lugar los martes y jueves a las 7 de la tarde. Y por último, disfruta de Daily Flash Latino, con noticias y entretenimiento en tendencia los sábados a las 7 de la tarde. Te esperamos por el canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página de Facebook TV8 Conexión Latina, nuestro canal de YouTube TV8 Vail Good Morning Vail o nuestra página web tv8vail.com.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, we see one couple fall in love with a waterfront fixer-upper.
It sort of wrapped its arms around us and said, you want me, and we did.
And watch as another battles over the budget.
We're trying to look through and see where we can trim at this point.
Are you looking to trim it, Ginger?
No.
No. Construction pros show us the right way to renovate.
Well, we had to do a roof over. We had to hand build a lot of the trusses.
As we're putting the thin set down, the self-leveler has a little clip that clips up underneath the edge of the tile.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tvavail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Daily Flash.
I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to
Mitch English and Andrea Jackson have co-hosted together for over a decade. And now, only on Daily Flash, they serve up a fast, fun, fresh perspective on the day's trending news and entertainment. Daily Flash offers the latest in pop news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, wellness, and even some unscripted, irreverent, who knows what's next fun. Daily Flash with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Trending news and entertainment.
Good morning, Vail.
The Westin Hotel is such a beautiful riverfront property here in our valley, and they've really been intentional about sustainability and beyond. Kevin chatted with the Westin Hotel about all things that they do and that they have to offer.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. We talk a lot here in the Valley about sustainability and being nice to the earth. And I am here with Jen from the Westin Riverfront with a lot of neat things that you've got going on to acknowledge the sustainability and Earth Day and just being kind to Mother Earth.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Westin, obviously part of our ethos, part of our identity is being sustainable. We were the first Silver LEED certified hotel in Colorado. So we take those sustainability efforts seriously. We also received actively green certification from Walking Mountains. We get our employees involved in cleaning up the highway, which is coming up here in May, as well as the river. cleanup, which happens a little later in the season. And then we have a garden on site as well. And then we definitely sort of look through the lens of trying to pick sustainable products in our spa, for our amenities in our rooms. And then just also try to get rid of plastic, single-use plastic at the resort. That was a big initiative for us in 2023 to kind of be plastic-free. And then we have Earth Day coming up on Monday.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, so on the 22nd, we do have just some kind of enlivening around that initiative again. We do have a Root Down, Rise Up yoga class, which we have a philanthropic partner at the resort for the month of April, which is our Vail Valley Mountain Trail Alliance. So we're going to have kind of a trail team. We'll have a group of employees that get out and work on trails, as well as our athletic club members. And then we will have all the proceeds, so it's a $20 suggested donation, and all the proceeds from that class is open to the community, not just our members, not just our employees. And then all those proceeds will go to the Vail Valley Mountain Trail Alliance, which is a cool partnership, I think, that we have for this month. And then we also have some really great food and drink specials going on. So our Stoke and Rye restaurant is a Richard Sandoval restaurant, and he has a book called Viva Abejas, and we were just talking about beekeeping. I didn't realize you were a beekeeper, but that's pretty cool. But all of the proceeds from his book sales do go to the World Bee Project, just to support our pollinators. And I think all of us have kind of heard the, just the demise of sort of the bee populations and the importance of that for our agriculture and for our sustainability and environment. And then we also have some really cool specials kind of throughout the resort on our food and beverage side as well. We have a Nature's Nectar drink, which uses Palisade peach puree, as well as a tequila. So that'll be fun for Earth Day to just kind of celebrate. And then we also have a very bee-centric menu in kind of accompaniment with the book that Richard Sandoval has there.
Wow.
So we have a whiskey cocktail. It's called the Beekeeper. So it has a little honey in it, and then a vanilla cheesecake that has a honey as well.
You've got quite the lineup. And
We
it's nice,
do,
we were just talking about Beaver Creek closing, and it's like, oh, with Vail closing, the valley will take a little bit of a deep breath, but it's transitional season.
Yeah.
We never call it mud season. It's transitioning now. We're going from one thing to another. May not be able to ski, maybe skin up, but now get the trails ready for some hiking and mountain biking.
That's right.
And a lot of fun out there. And it's nice. I know Richard Sandoval's been involved at the Western Riverfront for quite some time with his restaurants, and this is a new one for him that he's integrated in, Stoke and Rye. I know it's not really that new anymore.
It's about a year.
Yeah.
We've had it, 2 years, maybe 2 years. Yeah.
But it's nice, to have him out there and also integrating some local things in. The Palisade peaches are amazing. You got Olaf corn, which we see on a lot of menus as it starts to come into that season. But it sounds very interesting in integrating and infusing the nature into whatever he's composing there in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we have a garden on site allows us to grow some of our own herbs and lettuces, and also bring that into our menus as well. So we're just proud of that initiative and proud to have our employees involved in it as well. We do also, you were mentioning kind of the spring and the off season, we do love to get our locals in, which is why we run some of these specials both into our food and beverage outlets as well as into our spa. So we have a great relaxation in bloom spa special running, which is $129 for a 50-minute service, gets you access to the beautiful pool and hot tubs, which are saline, again, more sustainable than using chlorine and all the chemicals. As well as access to the fitness club. You can take a yoga class with us. So get a little recovery day here during the off season as well. And like you said, kind of shift gears from skiing to getting out onto the trails and recharge a little bit.
Well, you've definitely got the pool with a view.
Yes, we
you
do
get
have
out
the
there,
best
it's
pool in the valley.
right along the creek, and you look up and you can see the mountains with Beaver Creek in the background. So absolutely beautiful. And I tell you, all the retailers here that have been working so hard, the people in the restaurants, the people in the hotels and resorts, it's break time, so it's time to go get some body care and self-care and self-love and get a nice massage. And it's a time of year to get the locals in there and introduce them to some of the offerings that you've got.
I think self-care is such a big sort of buzzword in wellness, and I think people are starting to realize, you know, we all are pretty good out here, I think, at going hard and skiing hard and getting out on our bikes and trails, but the recovery piece of it is really, I think, becoming a much wider and bigger focus for people, and I think it's great. We're really fortunate to have such a beautiful spa. It's a 14-room spa. And to offer these local discounts, I think, during the shoulder season when people can truly take advantage of it and get some self-care.
And it's not about the physical part of it to where you might feel a muscle sore, your knees are tired. It's about the mental portion too, just to reset and get ready for that next season. I mean, that's what people do, and they integrate diets, and that's why menus change in the season. The seasonality of the food kind of gets there with the moods and gets people back on track.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking forward to celebrating next week and having a little root down, rise up yoga. You were mentioning the you know, sort of mental piece of it, and we have a full yoga class. We offer about 50 classes a week between our Pilates programming, yoga, as well as sort of our Studio M, which is the Michaela Schifrin branded studio there, which she just got engaged, which we were excited about too. New beginnings and spring fun. Just saw her and got to catch up on that a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, so just lots of opportunities to recharge, like you said, the mental aspect, even nutrition. We have a nutritionist on staff. We will be doing an upcoming kind of for the month of May, which is our mental health awareness month. We'll be doing a food and mood actually workshop with Christine Pierangeli, who is our certified master nutrition therapist. So just kind of looking ahead there. But yeah, so important, I think, and great to have a facility where we can sort of encompass all of those areas of
kind of
wellness.
A one-stop shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for getting up this morning, joining us on the show, talking about Earth Day, getting everybody amped up about that transition in season we're going to take starting on a Monday. But a lot of great offerings. If you get out there, get over to the West, and they've got so many neat things happening, whether it's the food and beverage from Richard Sandoval in the restaurant, or get down in that spa and fitness area and lay out by the pool and just soak up some of this beautiful sunshine that's surely coming our way here as spring transitions. We'll be back soon with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome to Street Magic. I'm Elizabeth Stanton with some of the most terrifying stunts, extraordinary extreme escapes, and the most amazing cutting-edge magicians you'll ever see in one show. Get ready to have your mind turned inside out. The hand is definitely quicker than the eye.
It's fake.
America was built on a love for the outdoors. We are a nation of sportsmen, blessed with magnificent natural resources. With broad interests across water and field, we are united in our devotion to nature and conservation. Join us every week for the best shows celebrating the outdoor lifestyle. Outdoor America. Live free.
Take the first game every one of us played in the schoolyard. Turn up the degree of difficulty to maximum, and then let loose some of the fastest and most agile athletes in the world to go one-on-one in what you have is the most extreme pursuit contest you've ever known. It's intense, it's addictive, and there's only one rule. Don't get caught.
If you haven't seen World Chase Tag before, here's how it works.
2 teams of up to 6 athletes compete in a series of one-on-one chases. Each chase lasts up to 20 seconds and has 1 chaser and 1 evader.
Opportunities of points on the board! Oh!
Whoever wins the duel stays on as the evader, and teams get 1 point for each evasion they make.
And it looks like the opening point of this contest.
It's the best of 16 chases to win the match, with a sudden death chase-off required to break any ties. It's win or go home from now on. Don't miss it.
I
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Hi, it's Max at TV8 Vail. We want to invite you all to the Wacky Winter Reading Program. It's open to all ages. All you have to do is read 10 books or 1,000 pages. For more information, go on our website, tv8vail.com. And thank you to our sponsor, the Eagle Valley Library District.
Good morning, Vail.
Hygge Life is such an interesting concept. Covered Bridge discusses all the things that they do. Let's take a look.
Hello, welcome to Covered Bridge on TV8. I'm Kim Fuller, co-owner of Jaunt Media Collective in West Vail and editor-in-chief of Covered Bridge magazine.
And I'm Bobby LaRue, the other co-owner of Jaunt Media Collective and the director of partnerships at Covered Bridge magazine. We have the pleasure of sitting down with some really awesome locals that really celebrate collaboration and really have created some unique things for our valley and the state wide. So today we're sitting down with David Walsh with Van Life Customs, Alex and Kuhn of Hygge Life. Dave, can you give us a little idea of what Van Life Customs is and what you guys do over there?
Absolutely, Bobby. So we build bespoke camper vans on the Mercedes Sprinter, Ford Transit, and Ram ProMaster chassis. We're essentially set up as an upfitter, so you bring us an empty van and we build you the camper van of your dreams.
That's pretty awesome. And Alex and Kuhn, give us a little idea of how to pronounce your business and what exactly you guys do over there.
All right, so maybe we start with hygge. So hygge is a Danish word that doesn't translate directly, but it kind of means coziness. So it's just this feeling really good, content, happy in a moment. And our shop and cafe located in Eagle Vale is called Hygge Life. So we basically import all sorts of home goods, furniture, lighting, decor, from all over Scandinavia and Europe that we feel like creates an atmosphere that creates that hygge feeling.
Mm-hmm. So when I think of van life, I think of cozy, right? Of being in a van and being able to go anywhere you want and really create your life by design. So what was it, Dave, that, what was the impetus of starting to work with Hygge Life?
Yeah. Well, we've known Alex and Kuhn for a while here in the Valley, love going in their shop and checking things out. And every time I'd walk through there, I'd be like, wow, this would be so cool to incorporate in a van build. Like, how could we get this vibe in a van? Mm-hmm. It's definitely a small space, so it has to be done really clean and really simple. And the vibe that we saw every time we walked into Hygge was just exactly that, but it was still inviting. So yeah, we just kind of started kicking around some ideas and saw some finishes and some fabrics and thought, wow, maybe we could build a cool van out of this.
Yeah.
When I first heard of this idea, I had what I would picture, like, oh, they're going to supply a few things. But after talking to Dave and during the build, it sounds like you guys had a pretty big part in creating what that interior of the van would look like.
We did. No, it was really fun to kind of start thinking a little bit out of the box from a home or a room, but to get to a room on wheels, really. And you do start thinking about colors, about fabrics in there, even how to position lighting, how to build in certain lighting. And then what objects and items can you bring in that both create a really good vibe, but are also super practical, of course, because you're going to get out there, you're going to be camping out, and which things can you use inside the camper van, but are also possibly to pull out when you're eating, dining, grilling, after swimming, relaxing, sitting in the sun. Mm-hmm. And then how to pack it all up and create a really cozy, comfy home, because it doesn't matter whether it's raining outside, you're sitting outside, but how to use those things all around.
Yeah, and Dave, you often work with clients in that way where they're designing their vans from scratch. Is this correct?
Yep.
And so that also includes aesthetic, and they can get as detailed as they'd like.
Yeah. Our customers can come in, they can choose from a number of different fabrics, or they can bring their own. We've done tufted leather seats or couches in the vans as well. The key is that we bring in ideas from the customer and we incorporate them into a durable solution that we have. Because these vans are going to do 70 miles an hour down the road, bumping along down a washboard road to find a good rural off-grid campsite. So it needs to hold up too. So we had to bring like the nice high-end feel of a home and put it in something and keep it all together.
And Alex, you do the same at Hugo Life with guests, or not guests, but customers who come in and they ask you for your amazing design advice. Are you able to go into their homes and help them in that way too?
Yeah, we actually just rolled out a styling program this last year, which has been going really well so far. And we're able to go into people's homes, and that could be, you know, for a specific room, an office, the entire home, a living room. And we'll basically go in and help them with furnishings, lighting, decor. And so the van was actually a really fun project for us too, to, you know, practice our styling. Yeah.
What's really unique too, if you guys haven't been over to the shop in the wintertime, I don't know if you guys are doing this in the summer, but Saturdays are sauna days, is that correct?
Yeah.
I saw that going on a little bit this year.
Yeah, just, well, yeah, so Huga also definitely incorporates enjoyment, fun, a good time basically. And so to put that, and you can do Huga. Huga is used as a verb in the Danish language. So you could say, hey guys, come over for dinner, Huga with us tomorrow night. And so we are always thinking of how to incorporate Huga and to practically do it as well. In this case, we got like, well, why don't we put a sauna in front of the shop? Quite a nice Nordic thing to do, both relaxing and fun. So this past winter, we indeed every Saturday had a sauna in front of the shop. You could book an hour and come with some friends or family, and that hour, the sauna was yours, coffee in the cafe before or after. Of course, did the whole package, so we got a cold plunge next to it. And just indeed to just do Huga as well, not just say, buy this, your home is going to be more Huga, but totally to live it as well. Yeah, because it is Huga life.
Right. It seems like we should be pulling the sauna with the van. That would be
exactly.
That would be the most ideal thing. Yes.
I feel that with Huga Life, it's always, for me, it's those things I didn't know I needed, right? And like a sauna, or very much a part of the Scandinavian culture, and then once they're a part of your life, the candles, the cozy stuff, it just becomes integrated. So Dave, were there any things in the van that showed up that you were like, wow, I never would have thought of this until it's there, and now you're so many customers that you're going to
There absolutely were a few things. I think the lighting was a big thing. We have our normal built-in lighting that we use, but Alex and Kuhn brought in some great accent pieces. They have these little, like, is it like a little candelabra thing?
Yeah, it's like a little portable light.
Yeah, and it's like a touch light. It's amazing. And then the globe light with the handle on top was fantastic, and being able to hang that in the van and then grab it and take it out of the van. There was just some amazing accessories, and then, you know, there's nothing better than laying on, gosh, what was it, alpaca?
Sheepskin?
Well, the sheepskins are always amazing, but the blankets and the covers were just, it was the next level. Like, it took this van to a really another place.
So the van is since sold, but if you guys want to reach out, I'm sure they could redo or refashion a total different Huga Life van or a van from Dave. But what I want to focus on quickly before we end is, you know, you've created some really unique businesses, but you both seemingly see the power and the opportunity of collaboration. And if you could just speak to that a little bit, because I think that's really what we're trying to celebrate at Covered Bridge and TV8 is how to work together within this silo of our valley, but then how to create more community around that.
No, yeah, what is really fun is indeed to see collaboration. We always believe that the more you collaborate, the sum of individual components becomes bigger than just a simple equation. And that's what we've always tried to do as well. So any partnership is really fun. And when we got to start talking about this idea, we're totally on board. And it doesn't always need to be resulting into this massive opportunity or big thing, but it really is about creating community, putting things out there together. You are stronger, we think, together than just by yourself. And it is also just what we try to do at the shop and with the coffee bar and the cafe in there, bring in the sauna. It is engaging the community, because it's just simply, it's kind of more, it's more Huga together as well.
Yeah, and we do. I mean, in the Vail Valley, I think it is really important that we all do come together and work together, and because, like you said, there are just such amazing small businesses in the valley, and it takes a lot of passion and grit and to make your business survive up here, I think, as well. And so I think coming together and really helping each other and coming up with fun ideas, and this really was mostly fun. We had a really fun time with it, and neat to connect with Dave and create this beautiful van. But I think in the valley, just all of us coming together, it's important.
Yeah. And a big shout out to you guys as well with what you guys are doing with Covered Bridge to highlight those stories, those connections, and basically the passion from a lot of local entrepreneurs to bring that out there. It's much appreciated.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really wonderful to be able to bring these stories, partnerships, and wonderful people to life on TV8. So thank you so much for watching today, Covered Bridge on TV8. We'll see you next time.
Enjoy the journey.
Good morning, Vail.
Eyepieces of Vail has been a fixture in the Vail community for over 30 years. From designer frames and sunglasses to high-performance sports frames, prescription goggles, and in-demand accessories like helmets, goggle lenses, and foldable reading glasses, our inventory raises the optical bar. Visit one of our 7 locations today and see why generations of loyal customers return time after time for our unmatched service and inventory. Eyepieces, the art of vision.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
For fun and adventure, join me on Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World. Find out where I'll be going next and which celebrities I'll be bringing along with me. I'll show you amazing destinations with lots to explore, and you'll get to know my celebrity guests the way they really are, up close and personal. We'll travel the world, experience new cultures, and together, try to make a difference. I'm Elizabeth Stanton, saying the world's a big place, and I'm going to show it to you.
There's a new upscale sushi restaurant in Vail. It's named Makoto after its chef, Makoto Okua, who is a James Beard Award winner and has been featured on Iron Chef America. The new restaurant opened up with a bang this winter at the Grand Hyatt Vail after months of preparation. And although Chef Makoto has multiple restaurants, including ones in Miami and Washington, D.C., he says this latest addition is a dream come true.
I just can't imagine like where I started it from, what I have right now, and now I have a restaurant in Vail. It's like a Thanksgiving and Christmas and an American dream came at once. That's how I feel like.
The Grand Hyatt's general manager, Kevin Shields, says they're thrilled to add a celebrity signature restaurant to their dining options.
We not only have the opportunity to open an amazing restaurant, but to also elevate the food scene here in Vail, Colorado.
Chef Makoto is a master of the more modern Adome-style sushi, which he has perfected for over 25 years. He says he's excited to welcome in the people of Vail.
Give me an opportunity to taste my food and see what happens.
You might just be blown away. Kampai to that. For TV8 in Vail, I'm Avisha Scarborough.
Hello everyone, I'm Raisa Pascal.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. Welcome to Life, Love, Shopping. Have any personal stories you can share?
Do I?
Yes, I
do. So even though you work for...
Some good deals, too good to miss on Flash Deals now. Check this out.
Studies show spending time outdoors can help with depression, lowering blood pressure, and overall health and happiness.
I'm Danella Richard. I've made a career traveling the world.
I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world.
You're watching K34QB.
Welcome back to our show. It is Monday morning and it is Earth Day here on Good Morning Vail and beyond. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot. In this second hour, it's a lot of fun. We're having some interesting conversations. I chatted with the podcast host of Critical Root Zone, plus I'm in the kitchen making Earth Day cookies. Such a simple and fun recipe, especially to do with your friends and family. And then we've got elephant learning and more. So stay tuned. Hour 2 starts right now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Think Big features top kid inventors who face off against each other to see who can come up with the most innovative and creative invention. In Think Big, kids acquire and showcase their skills in creativity, science, marketing, design, and don't forget, teamwork. Check your local listings and watch the world's most innovative kids. They create and invent new toys, games, websites, and new modes of transportation. Tune in to Think Big.
Stevie Lee Woods presents Nashville Roadhouse Live, where country meets rock and roll.
It's where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces.
Join us every week for more live performances right here on Nashville Roadhouse Live.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Hi there. Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
Learn the latest in science each week and how it relates to everyday life. From space exploration to plant biology to the latest in high-tech advances. Every new scientific development is explored and explained in an understandable way. Amazing stories each week. Watch Science Now.
Daily Flash Latino. Designed for the American Latino audience, Daily Flash Latino hosts Jessica Reyes and Fabian Marcano deliver their fresh perspective on the latest entertainment news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, and more in both English and Spanish, aka Spanglish. Daily Flash Latino builds, connects, and celebrates the diverse Hispanic audience. Daily Flash Latino, trending news and entertainment with a splash of Spanglish.
Good morning, Vail.
I love celebrating our climate and this beautiful earth that allows us to do all of the fun things indoors, outdoors, and just healing for the soul. So we're going to make some Earth Day cookies to celebrate and honor the earth. Let's take a look at what to make it with. So easy. We've got food dye, sprinkles, butter, eggs, and this is the best part, sugar cookie mix. So this is one of the more simple recipes that you can do to make a fun and festive cookie. So we'll go ahead and get started. I've got the Betty Crocker sugar cookie mix. Really doesn't matter what brand you use though, but you want to make sure that you've got about 17.5 ounces of the cookie mix, which is exactly what we have here. We've preheated our oven to 375 degrees. So you want to make sure that it's good and hot when you put these cookies in, because then they'll bake easily. And the best part about this is we're making a drop cookie, which means you don't have to have it perfectly proportionate. You can just kind of smash it all together and make it look like the earth. Very excited to get started. So ripping up in my package, that's the simple sugar cookie mix. Very easy. Betty Crocker makes a classic one. It's pretty great. We'll go ahead and pour that in here. You can see it's a nice light and fluffy mix. And the reason we want to do sugar cookies is because we are adding food dye to the mix so that we can create green and blue to simulate the land and the sea that is our earth. So go ahead and do that. And then the next piece, we have our butter. You want 1 stick of butter. You want to make sure that it is softened. So it's been sitting out at room temperature for at least 30 minutes. So it's nice and soft. I can actually just squeeze it just like that with my fingers. We'll go ahead and put that in here next. This is great. You don't have to do the wet ingredients or the dry ingredients first. You can literally just throw it all in there. And I also really enjoy this recipe because it does not have any of the vegetable oil that you would make from a normal box mix. So we've got 1 egg. Egg doesn't have to be at room temperature, but you know, it can be. If you're pulling out your butter, you might as well pull out the egg too. We'll go ahead and smash it on my butter so that way I don't create a mess all over my cutting board, even though I just created a mess on my fingers. You know, it's pretty great. I love being here in the Valley. I think Earth Day is so special to us because we're in the Valley. We are out and about, you know, enjoying the mountains, the beautiful greenery, the flowing rivers. You know, it's just a really special place to be, especially on a day where, you know, you're being made aware of the environment and how we can better serve it. So I'm going to go ahead and blend it. We're going to make some kitchen noises, and people love the kitchen noises. So just be patient as I blend this together. I'm going to start out on low because we do have all this powder in here and we don't really want it to go all over the place. So you want to make sure that you have a large mixing bowl. And as you can see, my butter is nice at room temperature. If you wanted to start this early, you could put the butter in first and then start to really kind of break it up a little bit more before you add in the powder so it doesn't splash all over the place, but you know what? We're doing just fine. And you know what's really fun? I actually saw this great hack on Instagram. When you're using this, take a paper plate and actually just put it underneath or stick your little beaters through the paper plate so that it creates a shield around the batter that you're making. But I want to watch this and make sure that I'm doing it right. So, you know, I'm not using the paper plate trick today, but looks like a lot of fun. I might have to try that next time. We're just going to keep on blending. Now that I've started to break down my butter a little bit more, I'm actually going to increase the speed on my mixer here. And it's going a lot better than that. Now this is a cookie dough that you probably shouldn't eat raw because it has egg in it, but I'm a fan of trying all of the dough and making it. There we go. We're just going to keep on mixing. So I've got my egg, my butter. Looks great. Do a little bit faster speed. Awesome. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to go ahead and just use our hand mixer to finish it up. So I used the electric mixer to really break down that butter, but this hand mixer, this is one of my favorite ways to make a cookie, is to really do this drop dough mix. We're just going to keep on mixing it just like that. And just kind of stir it around. As you can see, the butter is starting to really integrate into the what's it called? Into the mix. Words are hard today because I am so excited to talk about decorating these wonderful Earth Day cookies. I'm just going to keep on mixing. So we've got 1 stick of butter and 1 egg. We're keeping it going. It's going to take a minute to integrate this because we're not using a ton of liquid into our dough. But if you needed to, I could say you could always add a little bit of water to it just to make sure that it forms appropriately. And I think that is actually what we're going to do here. We're going to add just a little bit of water just to get the dough to form together. It's almost ready, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to take a little bit here. All right, and fill it in. Now, if you wanted to add some milk to it, you could, but we're just doing, I'd say, about a fourth of a cup of water there, and we're just going to keep on mixing it together. Now, as we mix it, the best part about this is food color. So I have gel food coloring here. And the gel food coloring, I prefer a gel over a regular liquid because it just is a little bit more vibrant of a color. It's really pretty, but we're going to separate our dough into 2 halves. We're going to do a green and a blue to symbolize water and land, earth, wind, and fire. I guess we could say Captain Planet has joined us in the kitchen. Very excited to make these beautiful cookies. There we go. As you can see, the water really just kind of helps solidify our cookies together. And these are drop cookies, so it doesn't really matter what the shape turns out to be. I like to mix my butter, but it doesn't have to be perfectly mixed because as the butter helps melt while it's in the oven, it really makes it a nice, rich flavor to it. So we've got our dough. I'm going to go ahead and divide the dough into 2 different balls. All right. Nice and mixed. It looks good here. We're going to go ahead and divide it. I've got 1 bowl here. We're just going to keep it in the same bowl there. So our dough has been divided, looking good. And then we're going to add in the food coloring. Now this is going to be the fun and messy part. I've got green for earth. We're going to squeeze that in here. And I personally like to make it nice and bright, so I'm just squeezing a whole bunch in there. We'll do a little bit more, why not? And then we also have sprinkles, blue and green sprinkles, so I cannot wait for this part of it. I'm going to squeeze the blue into here. And since I already have my spatula in here with the blue, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing it. You can see that beautiful blue color. It's nice and pretty. It looks just like the ocean. It's a little harder to mix, but you know what? It's working. It's looking good. And this is the easy part and the part that's going to really make it fancy. All you do is smash the 2 colors together to make a perfect cookie. There we go. Awesome. Blue's looking good. Nice and mixed. Great. As you can see, the dough looks good there. And then I'm going to take this one and we're going to use this for the green. And just get that green color mixed all the way in there. I love the gel food coloring. You can see how bright and vibrant that it is. And it'll look really good when these cookies are baked. I might add a little bit more to the green, right? Why not? Because who doesn't like bright? I'm a big fan of the neon, as you can see in my green sweater to honor Mother Earth. I just love all that Earth has to offer us. We've got so much to be grateful for, land to play on and to enjoy. You know, forget all the technology. Just get outside, enjoy the sunshine. All right, looking good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Got cookie dough on here, but we'll save that for later. So here's the easy part. Now we're just gonna take our cookies and we're gonna smash them together. Now you can, if you wanted to, you could add the sprinkles to it ahead of time, or you can just sprinkle it on top. We're just gonna take, just like that, kind of smash it together, roll it into a ball, and put it onto, maybe I shouldn't have added that much water to it, but here we are, it is what it is. If this happens again, you can just add a little bit more flour to it and it'll be just fine. But we're just adding these cookies, we're rolling it around. And then at the end, I'm gonna rinse my hands and sprinkle some of the blue and green sprinkles on it. Or you can use my cookie melon ball dropper scooper thing. I don't know what the fancy term for it is, but here we go. We're just gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep on rolling these cookies out. They're gonna cook, they're gonna look great. And here we go. So that's basically it. That's how you make a simple Earth Day cookie. You need the butter, you need the egg, and then a simple sugar cookie mix, and that is it. I'm gonna rinse my hands, add some sprinkles to it, and then we're gonna bake them in the oven for about 10 minutes and pull them out and see how they turn out. Thanks for joining, and we'll be right back after this.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome aboard. Bobby Laurie and Nikki Noya have your ticket to everything you need for an on-the-go lifestyle. Grab your boarding pass. It's time to jet set.
Hello, I'm Shervin Rezai here with Chenna Garden in Avon, Colorado. My hobbies are obviously skiing. I've been skiing since I was 3 years old. In addition to that, music's always been my first passion, and you can see that alive and well at Chenna Garden with our little record nook, where we have over 300 records, and we'll continue to grow that collection and play vinyl records for you while you enjoy your cuisine. Chenna Garden is Avon's oldest running restaurant. We've been open since 1988 when my mother set up shop and wanted to begin offering Avon, Colorado the best quality Chinese food that we could get. And I started working in the restaurant when I was 8 years old as a dishwasher making $1 a day. And then one of the servers, pushed by my dad, told me I should ask for a raise, and then I got $5 a day, but then I had to put all $25 at the end of the week into a savings account, which actually helped me out in college. So after college, I went out to New York for law school, and I spent 15 years out in New York City practicing law and working in-house, which exposed me to a lot of restaurants all over the world, all over the country. And after getting exposure like that, I realized that we have this beautiful restaurant here that has so much potential. So in the fall of 2023, we came back, remodeled, and tried to get this back to give that special feel that I've known all my life here. We've been offering a lot of new cuisines, including German cuisine with our good family friend Gunther Schmidt, who's been serving up authentic German cuisine in the Valley for many, many decades. Why not? This is America. We can serve German food in a Chinese restaurant, and we just let it try. And after a year of it, it's been building up some success, and we're just having a lot of fun just seeing the look of bewilderment on every customer when they're like, how am I getting German food in a Chinese restaurant that's this good at this quality? Chenna Garden is really all about that community, and that first starts with the local community. We always try to take care of all of us who are working hard, grinding it, so that we can also enjoy what this valley has to offer. And through that, we get a nice mix of word of mouth, tourists who come in. We're looking for something a little more authentic and that has a history with the valley. I'm a proud member of the Avon Vail Valley community, lifelong member as I was born here, and I hope you come out and see us here at Chenna Garden. We're open every day, 4 to 9, any day the mountain's open. Cheers.
Good morning, Vail.
I I quite enjoyed my conversation with my dear friend and podcast host, Maris Macelis, about her podcast, Critical Root Zone. What does that mean? How can you impact our community and beyond? Let's take a look. Now, welcome back to the show. Our next guest is a very near and dear friend of mine and is passionate about serving our environment and just really educating people on how they can make the least amount of negative impact and the biggest amount of positive impact. Joining me today is Maris Macelis. Maris, how are you?
Hi, I'm so good. This is so awesome. It's great to see you.
Great to see you. I love that we've come so far in our friendship where we met each other through a kickboxing gym in Nashville, Tennessee. And now here we are talking about things that are even bigger picture, more important than, or not more important than talking about our environment. So you are a podcast host, you're an environmental activist. There's so many positive things about who you are, Maris. So tell us a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been a passion of mine for a really long time, probably since I was a little girl. My mom taught me to care about the planet and the environment. And it's really seeped into every crevice of my life. And it started to bloom over and over again as I surrounded myself with more people that had this love and passion for taking care of the planet and really taking care of each other. And that's kind of like what led me to the work I do today. The podcast Critical Root Zone is my own baby. It's intentionally supposed to make you think a little bit deeper, hence the name Critical Root Zone. Mm-hmm. And my day job is with a nonprofit called Tennessee Environmental Council. So I'm here in Nashville still, and we're doing a lot of field work, boots on the ground, planting trees, creating pollinator habitat, and recycling roundups. But there's still this very important connection that we have to have with each other and ourselves in order to do that work. And that's kind of what my podcast is about.
Well, I think you just permeate the community with positivity and all the work that you do, between being a Lululemon ambassador and teaching kickboxing and just really encouraging the people around you. Every conversation that you have is very meaningful. So talk about Critical Root Zone podcast. How did it get started? What conversations do you discuss? Tell me more.
Thank you. Critical Root Zone is actually my second podcast. The first one was called Zero Waste Trash Talk, which was a group of friends and I that wanted to put more information out into the community about recycling or questions that we had about different things going on in the community that was confusing. A lot of it revolved around zero waste, hence the name Zero Waste Trash Talk. And it evolved into this community driven, we had 2 or 3 events in town where people showed up and we had different community members and leaders speak on things and different organizations speak on what they did. And that's kind of what led me to get into my own podcast later in a couple of years later after the pandemic hit. And we had all of these really kind of challenging parts of life, right? Where everyone had to stop and really think about, what am I doing here? What is my purpose, right? And I thought, well, the podcast was really important to me. Unfortunately, my friends decided not to continue, and Critical Root Zone was born. Critical Root Zone is about getting to the root issues of what we know to be true, right? So there's all of these things that we can do to better the planet, to, see the things happening around us and these impacts that we can make, yet there are things that are systematically rooted in our lives around us that kind of prevent us from creating that systematic change, right? We can have cleanups and we can recycle things, but what about the front end of that? And how does that all reflect into us and our lives? So this podcast, there's a lot of different topics because sustainability, and we use this big grand word, sustainability, it just means caring about sustaining life, regenerating life, the circle of life. And my podcast is really about different stories with people that are doing the work, not only for them, for the planet and for the people around them, but for themselves, thinking about how does this affect me and what the things that I do in my life, and how does it vibrate outside of myself into the community and into the world. So my tagline is, in order to love the planet, we have to love each other. And in order to love each other, we first have to love ourselves.
Oh, wow. That just gave me chills. And that's so true. I think you're exactly right. You bring up kind of a thoughtful conversation on your podcast, and it's around all different things. What are things that we can do better for ourselves mentally? What can we do better to impact our community? So I love this. So Maris, tell us what kind of guests have you had on the podcast? You know, what can we look forward to as we continue to listen and tune in?
Absolutely. The last guest I had was actually this very interesting conversation about aquaponic cannabis farming. And
fun.
it was it is so different and so groundbreaking and so beautiful because they have this very sustainable or regenerative process, and they also care about their people in such a regenerative way, where that's really the meat of my podcast. Funny for me to say meat because I don't eat meat, right? You don't want to, what can I say?
The bones of it, the framework.
The green juice of my podcast.
There you go.
You can look forward to a couple different people I just interviewed that are doing wonderful work with the unhoused here in Nashville. People that are looking into the food systems from Feedback Nashville. I have a guest from the the Nashville Food Project, which they have community gardens and they teach people how to grow food, and they're actually doing a big study right now on the access to this food in the city, which is really important for systematic change. And then another guest I have on is the CEO of the Harpeth Conservancy that do a lot of work with the wetlands or any body of water in Tennessee, which is so important because we use that for our drinking water. And with regulations going on with the EPA, they kind of lessened the protection around our wetlands. And so we learn a lot about politics with them and the science that they do, the data proven that they've done to make sure that they can go to the front lines in our legislature and fight for our wetlands. So there's a lot of good stuff coming to look out for. Critical Root Zone. You can watch it on YouTube. It's on all platforms, but the major ones, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you'll see it there. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun, and it's been truly an honor to just get to speak with any of these people.
Well, I love all the conversations that you're having, and these are all topics that can really be translated across the U.S. as well. So exciting stuff. And then your Instagram, you give a lot of tips and tricks on your Instagram, plus all of the fun things that you do in your life. Where can we go to follow you along on social media?
Absolutely. So the podcast is at Critical Root Zone. And from there, you'll find my personal at the Maris Vibes with a Z. You'll find it from there. Thing is, I like to get down and dirty with people. It's not always about step 1, 2, and 3. It's about just getting deep. It's about being real and transparent and showing people that it's kind of challenging to be sustainable in the environment that we've created with all these technological advances that make life easier and convenient. It's tough to go back to this primitive side that we all came from. So it's just nice. It's raw. It's down to earth. And I just try to connect with people as best as I can.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you what, I certainly have enjoyed having you in my life. So it's a lot of fun to have you on this show as well, and to talk all about the things that you're doing to make some change and to create some thought change as well. We appreciate it.
So much. It's great to see you, Kim.
Awesome.
Thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. Well, Maris, thanks for joining. We'll be right back with more on the show after this.
Good morning, Vail.
It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
How do you make Anthony Edwards the face of your franchise if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves? We'll get into that.
And we say hello to our good friend Matt Verderam, who hangs out with us from SI.com. Their NFL insider, one of them, is hanging out with us on the program today.
Did you see Caitlin Clark last night?
She put up a 40-burger, hits the game-winning 3 as time expires.
Let's turn our attention to the Denver Broncos, one of the NFL's most dysfunctional situations.
The Sports Wrap with Jason Page. From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
Each week, we're going to focus on the great things that are happening every day in the USA. We'll feature change makers.
In every older person, there's a younger person saying, how did this happen?
innovators,
I talk about design the way some people might talk about like the person they're in love with.
doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
For the latest and greatest trends in pop entertainment, Popstar Today brings you compelling celebrity lifestyle stories that matter most to you. From movies, music, TV, and streaming shows, to fashion, social media influencers, and the latest on who is seeing who. Join host Elizabeth Stanton as she digs deep and dives in. This is Popstar Today.
Eight-time Emmy-nominated Animal Rescue is a half-hour television series showcasing the heroic efforts of people helping animals. Join host and award-winning journalist Alex Payne and the Animal Rescue camera crew as they travel around the world, capturing dramatic rescues, rehabilitation, and relocation stories. For programming schedule, check your local listings today. Don't miss your favorite episodes of Animal Rescue.
Good morning, Vail.
I certainly love the conversation around STEM discussions, especially when children are involved. Let's take a look at our Eco Challenge and the competition that they're offering.
Now, I love talking about the environment, and I'm so grateful to have the chance to talk to the co-founder of Earth Echo International. How are you doing?
Good morning, Gretchen.
It's so nice to meet you. And let me ask you, is it Philip or Philippe?
Philippe.
Philippe. So I'm so excited to hear more about this because I know this is a STEM competition for people, young adults, 13 to 16, that are trying to help the earth, help the world. Can you give us a little bit of background on this amazing competition?
Sure thing. Well, Gretchen, 15 years ago, I founded Earth Echo International. We've become one of the world's leading ocean education and youth leadership organizations. And as part of that, it's really focused on how we give young people the tools and knowledge to take action in their communities to solve these problems. Because, of course, environmental crises are all over the world. Right. Young people have a really high degree of concern and anxiety around it. And so 4 years ago, about 5 years ago, four and a half or so years ago, we launched the Our Echo Challenge, which is a national STEM competition for students between 13 and 16 years old to tap into that engagement and passion that young people have for the environment. We challenge them to come up with a program to solve an issue around the environment, particularly biodiversity in their community. And then the top three finalists win grants of $1,000, $2,500, and $5,000 to actually implement their projects in their communities. And so we're launching the 2024 competition now, and the deadline is April 26th to submit.
How cool. And I have to say to you, this is such a powerful thing for so many reasons. One, I know there's so much anxiety around the world and helping heal the world. And not only are you giving people, these young adults, the chance to make a difference, but to really implement that in their own community. And I love that you said, and could you touch base a little bit more on this? It's within their own community. So it's something that they're actually physically dealing with day by day. Is that correct?
Well, it is, and that's why we asked Harper Fortgang, who is actually the here to join us this morning, because she's the finalist and the winner of the 2020, our inaugural year for the Arico Challenge, and she's a great example of what you're talking about and the power that young people have, and how important it is to engage in communities to solve problems and help combat, that anxiety and that feeling of powerless that a lot of young people suffer from.
Okay, we're going to put you in the hot seat. I'm excited. What did you do? I'm so stoked to hear all the things. You have to feel really proud of yourself. This is a big moment for you. I want to hear what exactly did you do?
Thank you.
Of course.
I led Super Plants in the very first 2020 Arico Challenge. We were among the winners and received a $5,000 grant to implement our project. Over the past 4 years, we've grown into Project Super Plants, an entirely youth-led organization that educates, mobilizes, and inspires students to reduce CO2 emissions. We run interactive climate modules in schools around the San Francisco Bay Area. We started as a team of 3, and now we're a team of 30 high schoolers who've reached over 2,000 students and grown 22,000 super plants.
Harper, oh my goodness. Okay, how old are you, Harper?
I am 16.
Oh my gosh, I am so impressed by you. What an amazing thing. At 16, I was reading books and watching movies, and you're helping save this world and creating change. How did you even, I'm so impressed by you. How did you even get this idea? How did this come to be?
So I got this idea when I was in middle school. I've always loved science, experimenting with reading banana biofuel or growing algae, and I was learning about photosynthesis in my science class, and I wondered whether we could supercharge plants' intake of CO2 to protect our environment. And I learned about these plants that naturally have larger root systems that can store more CO2. And I was really excited by this, and I wanted to share it with others, but I wasn't really sure how to get started.
Okay.
So the moment that I connected all of these ideas that I had with real action was when I stumbled upon the Arico Challenge, and from there, the project grew.
That is so impressive. That is really, really cool. And Harper, how can you share this with other people? Do you have a website, or is there somewhere that we can go to learn more about what you're doing specifically? Because that's so interesting to me.
Yeah, our website is projectsuperplants.org. We also have an Instagram at Project Superplants. And we love for teachers to run educational modules and for students to continue spreading our project.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, I have to be honest with you. In 6th grade, I did hydroponics, and look what you're doing. This is like, there's no comparison.
Listen, Gretchen, I'm the same way. There was none of this when I was in school, and that's just it, right? Young people are so passionate about these issues. A lot of them just don't know what to do. The Arico Challenge, as I said, the deadline is April 26th. We provide lots of tools and resources online for how to engage, how to submit a plan, how to submit a project. And it's really about tapping into this undercurrent of passion that young people have to solve problems, to not just to take it.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring. Let me tell you, it's so amazing. Harper is a terrific example, and there are dozens and hundreds of young people, projects like this, and actually thousands of young people we worked with around the country just in the last few years who are doing amazing work, and it's really fantastic.
Philippe and Harper, you totally inspired me. Thank you so much, and thank you for being such a positive change for our environment. And you both should be so proud of yourselves, truly.
Appreciate it, Gretchen. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. Have a great day, guys.
Good morning, Vail.
Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
I'm Danella Richard. I've made a career traveling the world. I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Woo. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world.
Eyepieces of Vail has been a fixture in the Vail community for over 30 years. From designer frames and sunglasses to high-performance sports frames, prescription goggles and in-demand accessories like helmets, goggle lenses, and foldable reading glasses, our inventory raises the optical bar. Visit one of our 7 locations today and see why generations of loyal customers return time after time for our unmatched service and inventory. Eyepieces, the art of vision.
For the latest and greatest trends in pop entertainment, Popstar Today brings you compelling celebrity lifestyle stories that matter most to you. From movies, music, TV, and streaming shows, to fashion, social media influencers, and the latest on who is seeing who. Join host Elizabeth Stanton as she digs deep and dives in. This is Popstar Today.
Good morning, Vail.
In the spirit of STEM research and beyond, I had a conversation with the founder and creator of Elephant Learning, a math development app. Let's take a look. Now, welcome back to Good Morning Vail. I am honored to be joined here on the couch because this is a very, very important topic. And with the rise of the COVID pandemic and before, kids are falling behind in their education, specifically in math, because they don't understand why they need to use it. And joining me today is Dr. Aditya Nagrath, who is the founder of Elephant Learning. How are you?
Hi, great. Thank you for having me.
So I mentioned, with the COVID pandemic, it's really, I think, heightened and highlighted education, and specifically around mathematics. And you are such an impressive person. And so how did you decide to come up with Elephant Learning?
Yeah, well, so we came up with Elephant Learning because we had done some research and we had found out that 4 out of 5 students start kindergarten unprepared for the kindergarten curriculum. And this happens completely along income lines. And the reason why is because the top 20% earners are able to send their children to preschool. And in preschool, they ensure that they meet the standard for counting to 10. But ultimately, that's what we learned, is that students were coming in and they didn't really understand counting to 10. And that was because that there's this gap between what the parent thinks counting to 10 is and what the standards say counting to 10 is.
And starting at such a young age and not being comfortable with that, it creates anxiety. So talk to me about mathematic anxiety and how it is a very much real thing.
Yeah, so like the stem of the mathematics anxiety is this idea of understanding that language of mathematics. So we focus on teaching the mathematics of language, or sorry, the language of mathematics. And so like when you don't understand the teacher and you're trying to just get through and get to the next level, whatever that is, anxiety starts to form because it looks like everyone around you understands this and you're supposed to know it, but like there's like this imposter syndrome starting to form. And it's kind of maybe the basis of where it all comes from.
Yeah, you don't want to let your teacher down. And then on top of that, you want to seem like you're keeping up with everybody in the classroom. So then that anxiety just starts to compound as you get older and you learn more and you move through the school system and the curriculum. Now, elephant learning, very impressive. So you have a background in computer programming. You learned the C++ language at the age of 14.
Yeah.
So naturally, you moved into this application development process. So what inspired it? How did you create elephant learning? Tell me all about it.
Sure. What we inherited was a program that was funded by the National Science Foundation and partly by the Toyota Foundation. And it had activities for 4- and 5-year-olds. These activities help demonstrate the concepts to the students. So like, think about it like teaching the colors. You have to show a student red things, and then they have to infer that red refers to the color. So you show them a red truck, a red ball, a red whatever, and you're labeling it, red truck, red ball, etc. So they learn that red refers to the color. In the same way, like we teach the quantities, it's same thing that parents would do. How many fingers am I holding up? Or can you give me 6 things? And then from there, we teach them the operations. And again, they have to kind of live with it. So like, give me 5 things, give me 4 more things. How many do I have now? It's the idea of 5 + 4. So through these activities, they actually learn the language of mathematics, and then they understand the teacher better in the classroom because they have a experience or a reference point to think back to when they look at the written mathematics.
And so, oftentimes with math, you're just doing it, you're executing it, and that's it. You don't think about the why or whatnot. And so through your program, you're able to kind of appreciate and initiate that conversation as well.
Yeah, so like the real thing that they're getting out of it is this ability to see, when do I use these operations to solve problems? And that's what's most important, because if you've memorized your multiplication tables, but you can't use multiplication to solve a real life problem or a word problem, then multiplication is absolutely useless to you. Even if you're memorizing the mnemonic, right? In real life, when the multiplication problem shows up, you don't have a mnemonic.
Yeah.
So really, we make math useful for the student.
Yeah, so speaking of students, how many students have worked through your program? You've been in business 7 years, so very impressive. Tell me all about it.
So over the last 7 years, we've had over 150,000 students go through our system. We ran a research study on 56,000 students, and what we found was that on average, they learned 1.67 years of math over the course of 13 weeks. They used it just under 40 minutes per week. Our initial study had them learning about 1.5 years of math over the course of 10 weeks, using it just under 30 minutes per week. So those numbers, they basically line up. So we're reproducing the experiment over and over again.
And that's great. And so you mentioned 1.5 years of math, so that just boosts them 1.5 years up into the grade level that they should be, or maybe above if they're doing really well.
Right. Well, we focus on the essential topics. And yeah, when you teach it as a language, they're able to pick it up a little bit faster. They might not be able to execute the operations with fluency is what they call it, like speed, right? But they're able to execute it. So that's, in modern society, that's like better, because you can always pull out a calculator and you could always execute it if you could figure out which are the operations that you need to run. But then ultimately, again, we actually make the math useful to the student because they're able to use it.
So Dr. Aditya, tell me about the rise of smartphones. People are relying on their smartphones for any kind of answers, so mathematic calculations specifically. I love the idea that you have an app and you're able to teach people. So what are you seeing from a kid's perspective? How many kids, what's the average age? Do you feel like they're learning a little bit better? Tell me more.
Right, so we cover from counting through algebra, and we've had students of almost all ages, because if you're struggling with upper level mathematics, typically there's a misconception in algebra or earlier. The average age might be 7 or 8 years old, but that's because the range is wide. And I think that the most amazing thing is that we have students that come in, they don't like mathematics, they don't like math in the classroom. And then they use our system, and then after being able to understand what's happening in the classroom, now mathematics is engaging to them because they're able to participate in the classroom. The games themselves, again, there are activities that like are demonstrating the concepts, like give me 5 things, give me 4 more things, how many do I have now? Or, you know, like for multiplication, we have rows or groups of items. So like each group has 7, and you can see there's 4 groups. How many things do we have? And there's curtains that ensure that like they just can't count them up.
Oh, good.
So like,
good.
What we do then is that like these activities, they're not really hiding the math, but they feel like a puzzle game to the student, and a lot of students start to engage with it.
And it really just increases their confidence in the classroom. I love that.
Yeah, and it builds problem-solving skills, and then also it builds intuition into this idea of induction. So like that's the idea that what's true on smaller numbers is also true on larger numbers. So that's what we do is we go through the operations and we kind of start with small numbers and we may move them up so that they see it working through small to larger numbers.
Great. So talk to me about parent involvement in elephant learning. You know, where can they go for more information? How do they get involved in making sure that their kids are really learning and utilizing your tools?
Sure.
Yeah.
So like for the parent, we have these dashboards, and the dashboards tell the parent what the student's working on, where there might be struggles, so if they needed to focus, they could. And also like what activities you could be doing outside of the system to reinforce those same ideas. Like when we determine that they're ready for fluency with addition or multiplication, we might give you card games to play so that you're multiplying and you're building that speed and that memorization. But after they've understood it, so they understand why they're doing it. But basically, to get started, they could just go to elephantlearning.com. You put in your email address, and that's the way to get started. From there, you can download an app onto the tablet of the student. But yeah, everything's available basically through website and through app.
Awesome. Now, I think it's so important, and it's a great way to bond with your child, too. So I love that you have a parent side of it that can really make sure that things are happening.
We have coaching videos that show, like, how could you work with the student. We typically recommend the why method. And we give this out for free, so I've said this on podcasts before, but basically what it is you let the student answer incorrectly, and then you ask them, why do you think that's the right answer? So it's kind of like asking them to show their work. But like for kind of the younger students, the why is around the language. So when the student tells you why, you're going to be able to see what is it that they don't understand and what is the language you need to clarify, or if you just need to give them a hint so that they get that aha moment.
I love that. So talk to me about the results. What results
Sure.
are you seeing?
Yeah, well, on average, again, students are learning years of mathematics over the course of several months, using it just 10 minutes a day, 10 to 20 minutes a day. And I mean, they go into the classroom, they feel more confident, they start to say that I actually do enjoy math class, they start to see the usefulness of math in everyday life, they start talking about it with their parents. So like, yeah.
It's just a great, so 1.5 years, they can increase it in about 12 to 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Their knowledge base is great.
Yeah,
Really.
again, we focus on the essential topics as a language. The goal was, can I get them to understand the teacher in the classroom so that we could fill that gap? Because what we did see was that over time, the education system in America works for those top 20% income earners. And this makes sense because if you came into the education system able to understand the teacher, then the education system is effective.
Yeah.
So then the question is how can we make it effective for everyone?
Yeah, how can you provide supplemental income that's, or not income, but supplemental education that's fun?
Right.
Absolutely.
Supplemental education that
Yeah.
could then make it so that when they participate in the classroom, it's useful.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Now, tell us where we can go for more information and find out any other details that we need to know.
Sure. Everything's on our website, elephantlearning.com. If you find us on Facebook, you can DM us. I think Instagram also works. But yeah, like just contact us, email us at support@elephantlearning.com. We're happy to answer any questions, but almost everything's on our website.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Aditya, thank you so much for coming on the show. I love your passion and your knowledge. It's so impressive to see the research that you put into this and just the passion you have to help elevate education and the school system. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now stay tuned. We have a lot more here on this next episode, so we'll be right back after this.
Good morning, Vail.
In America's heartland, living close to the land, there's a love for the country and a pride in the brand.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
What happens to a poker player when there is life-changing money on the line?
Take catch! I'm rooting for me.
When they are faced with adversity?
Holy smoke. Jason can't even breathe right now. Look at him.
When a WPT title is within their grasp?
How sweet that is, baby!
See for yourself with a front row seat to all the action on the World Poker Tour.
When people think of world-class destinations, they're drawn to a place that provides opportunities for fine dining, shopping, superior lodging, exciting events, and unparalleled outdoor activities. Park City, Utah, and Vail, Colorado are renowned destinations for travelers and extraordinary homes for residents. Feature your exceptional products and services in these two luxury communities. Advertise with Park City Television and TV8 Vail. Contact us today.
Join us in exploring the everyday lives of community members here in the Vail Valley. Hear their inspiring stories of how they came here, their contributions to our community, and why they chose to call this place home. We want you to be one of our neighbors. If you would like to be featured or nominate someone to be featured, please send an email to danielle@tv8vail.com. We look forward to featuring your story right here on TV8.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Pleshaw, host of TV8 Vail. From fashion to food, from film to festivals, experience a unique look at the boutiques, spas, restaurants, and venues that make the Valley so special. Join me for Glitz and Glam. Find it in Good Morning Vail or at our website at tv8vail.com. I can't wait for our next adventure.
TV8 te brinda la mejor programación en español todos los días. Sintoniza Conexión Latina los lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 7 de la tarde con repeticiones los fines de semana. Además, te presentamos nuestro nuevo programa Sabores y Creaciones, donde hemos juntado tus recetas y manualidades favoritas en un solo lugar los martes y jueves a las 7 de la tarde. Y por último, disfruta de Daily Flash Latino, con noticias y entretenimiento en tendencia los sábados a las 7 de la tarde. Te esperamos por el canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página de Facebook TV8 Conexión Latina, nuestro canal de YouTube TV8 Vail Good Morning Vail o nuestra página web tv8vail.com.
Good morning, Vail.
Well, thanks so much for joining me on this glorious Earth Day and Monday morning. I hope that you are getting outside, you're doing something to give back and taking care of the environment around you. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and I'm going to go enjoy one of my Earth Day cookies to celebrate this wonderful day. Thanks for joining.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Are you looking for exciting and nutritious recipes to cook at home? Watch Colorful Cooking with Tracy Miller on TV8 Vail. Tracy brings you the best in fresh and healthy foods for the active outdoor lifestyle. Stream online at tv8vail.com or find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on 92.
Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie and Aston.
Each week, we're going to focus on the great things that are happening every day in the USA. We'll feature change makers.
In every older person, there's a younger person saying, how did this happen?
Innovators.
I talk about design the way some people might talk about like the person they're in love with.
Doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
This show spotlights the latest innovations to create a greener planet. Join us next time as we explore new green ideas and present interesting green stories, and show you how some people are becoming real green.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
From New York, this is Democracy Now!
The strike is sympathy for our people in the North. It feels difficult to us for every martyr and every child who falls. What is required from us is that we sympathize with our brothers because the faithful are our brothers. What happened in the North is a little thing in front of what happened in Gaza. In Gaza, there are 34,000 martyrs or more.
Palestinians across the West Bank held a general strike Sunday to protest an Israeli military raid on a refugee camp that killed at least 14 people and left the camp uninhabitable. We'll go to Ramallah for an update from Palestinian journalist Mariam Barghouti. And we'll get an update from the Gaza Solidarity Encampment at Columbia University, which has reached its 6th day and has inspired solidarity encampments on campuses across the country. We'll speak with a Palestinian-Jordanian journalist and journalism student at Columbia University, as well as Columbia professor who addressed the encampment, Mahmoud Mamdani. Classes are being held